All right, Matt the Mortgage Guy here, recording a quick video, buying a house 2021. I'm going to talk to you about some pros of buying a house, some cons of buying a house, 2021 specific, some things you might run into, some things that might be frustrating, some cons that you might not have been thinking about, and I'm also going to talk to you about some pros. So without further ado, let me just jump right into it and get with the pros first. Let's talk the pros. The positives and the pros are always more fun. Sweet low interest rates. This shouldn't be the only reason you're buying a house, but it definitely should factor in, and it's the reason why we see such demand in the housing market, because 3% 30-year fixed or in that range is absolutely amazing historically. And when you look at a house that might be 20% more expensive than it was 2 years ago, but you have a 3% attached to that instead of a 5%, it's essentially the same cost to the borrower. So sweet rates. Another pro of buying a house, whether it's 2021 or any year, right, is that you've got no more rent increases. There is a law in California specifically where your property taxes can only go up a smidgen every year. It's going to vary from state to state, but in general, you've got a fixed rate mortgage. Your mortgage is going to stay the same year after year after year. In California, rent increases over the last 10 years have been through the roof. And I've been in forums and I've talked to people personally that are renting, one bedroom or a studio apartment for $1,400, $1,600, $1,800. And that same apartment might have been $700 or $800 just 5 to 7 years ago. So rent increases are real, and it's something that as a renter gets frustrating, and that can be a major pro to go buy a house. These are kind of the three things that a lot of people, who are bullish on real estate will talk about. And it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but these are things that definitely are positives about owning real estate. You're going to get appreciation. And I know that there's somebody out there who's like, gosh, some years real estate goes down. And what about the housing crash? What about that? Over time, real estate appreciates. Period. The end. You can debate me if you'd like, and we can look at historical stuff. If you buy a house today and we look at the value in 30 years, I can guarantee you it's worth more in 30 years. If it's not, I will cut off this pinky. I will eat it on camera and post it to YouTube. That's a promise. You heard it here first. Tax bennies. You're going to get tax benefits. You pay interest on your house, you write it off. Pay property taxes on your house, you write it off. Talk to a CPA. I'm not a CPA. I'm just some guy on YouTube. This is not legal advice, tax advice. This is no advice at all. This is my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. Thank you. Legal disclaimer. Done. Principal pay down. Over the life of the loan, as you pay it down and it's going up in value, it's essentially adding to your net worth. The problem with a car is that you're paying those payments down and it's depreciating while you're paying it down. So maybe you get through a 6-year loan and your car's paid off, woohoo, but it's only worth $6,000 when you bought it at 30. With a house, you buy it $300, you pay it down, and now you only owe $100, 20 years in, and it's worth $500. See how that works? It's like a alligator or something. I don't know where that came from. It's home, it's stability. This is something that, it's hard to put a price on or quantify that, but especially for people who have families, having a home that's a long-term deal in the same school district where your kids go to school and things like that, you can't put a price on that. Even if you don't have kids, you've just got stability knowing where you're going to live month to month. There's no landlord that says, hey, I'm selling, you've got to be out in 60 days. Or, hey, whatever the case may be, my cousins are moving back into town. You gots to go because they're moving in. So you have some certainty, some stability. It's a place you call home. If you have been in a Home Depot during the pandemic, you know that people love to do stuff with their homes and make it, their sanctuary and what have you, Gardens, home offices, all that. All those people that are driving Home Depot stock up, homeowners. Okay, let's get into some cons. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. And 2021, this is probably the number one con. It's competitive AF. You're going out there, and in some markets, not all, you've got 15, 20, 25 offers. This can drive people absolutely bonkers. You are, essentially in such a strong seller's market that you have to make an offer that is $40,000 above the list price. You're going to waive your appraisal contingency. You are going to put a biggest earnest money deposit down. You're going to give the seller free rent back. You're going to pay all the closing costs. This is a major con, right? Is you are basically, maybe you're overpaying a little bit. And I've drawn it in other videos, how real estate, regardless of what it does in the short term, always goes up over time. So long term, you're winning. Short term, competitive, paying a premium, you might see that as an L. But know that here, where you paid a $10,000 or $20,000 premium, when you still own it here, and it's worth $350,000 more, you won. It's a W, not an L. All right, more expensive than last year. This is something that I get all the time. It's just like home prices have gone up for so many years. Gosh, since 2011, it's been crazy. They're due to correct. They're due to change. If you flip a quarter and it lands on heads 10 times in a row, the next one doesn't have to be tails. And that might be a bad analogy because I know there's something about markets always got to correct and whatnot. But in the short-term time horizon that I'm looking at, like 3 to 5 years, we've got so much demand, it's going to take a catastrophe to see anything happen with home prices. I don't know. Maybe in 6 months or a year, you guys pull up this video and that one aged well. In the comments, you guys can just blast the heck out of me. But for me, I'm not waiting on the sidelines for a big discount. Here's something that I didn't do in a previous video that I meant to do. It's more expensive than last year. I'm going to wait. I want to see if things correct. The house you like is $500,000. And you can get a 3% interest rate. I'm not saying that things are going to appreciate 8 to 10%, but they can. They did last year. A lot of markets saw 12 and 14%. Let's just use 10% because it's a round number and I can do math fit quicker. 500 goes to 550. 550 goes to 605. 10%, 10%. Probably not going to happen, but let's just use it for math's sake, right? You've got a 3% when you bought at 500, 2 years from now, let's not get crazy. Let's just say rates went to 4.5%. Something happens, there's mass foreclosures, the market gets absolutely decimated, and things go down from 605, it dropped 20%. Let's call it 480. Which mortgage payment do you think is greater? The 500K purchase at 3% or 480 at 4.5%? I wish I would have done this math beforehand. I don't know, but I'm going to bet, and I'll follow it up in the comments. This one, much higher. Hundreds of dollars higher. Here, and let's say that that's the third year that we see the decline, that big thing. Instead of buying at 500, and have been paying on this mortgage for 3 years, in this beautiful home for 3 years, making this home yours for 3 years, paying the principal down for 3 years, you waited. Stuff went down 20%, which again is just unlikely, but that's your dream. But now you're paying 4.5% interest. You're paying more per month for the same house after a correction. I don't know, something to think about. Maintenance. I was trying to think of cons. I love real estate, so it's hard to think of cons, but I try my darndest because there is. And when you own a house, the roof, the hot water heater, the plumbing, the dishwasher, all of it. It's all maintenance. It's all a con. It all comes out of your pocket. It can suck sometimes. But overall, real estate is an amazing thing to own. I can guarantee you will be hard pressed to find somebody that says, yeah, that house I bought 30 years ago, I wish I never did. Another caveat, something I was thinking, I got all these thoughts thinking in my head. No one's going to tell you that. The only regret someone's going to have in real estate, not the only one. One of the regrets I see right now is buying too much. If things are going good for you in 2021 and you buy something for $1.5 million, and $1.5 million is 6x your annual income, $250 a year, you're doing all right, man. You're not balling. You shouldn't be buying $1.5 million property, in my humble opinion. But I don't know, it's enough caveats, enough that. Any questions at all, please feel free to reach out. I had fun making this video. I hope you had fun watching it. Matt, M-A-T-T, at mattthemortgageguy.com. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the like button. It helps people everywhere. More people see good, honest advice, the universe wins.